Okay, I've got 7 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to begin the meeting by reading a statement. Governor DeSantis Executive Order number 20-150 extended the governor's authorization for local government bodies to continue to conduct meetings without in-person quorum in any specific location and to hold meetings using Communications Media Technology, or CMT. On April 6, 2020, the city of Jacksonville Beach approved at their public meeting the use of CMT and alternative start times to conduct city council meetings and briefings. Accordingly, the city council meeting is being held in a modified manner using CMT. The council, staff, and public are not physically present at City Hall tonight. In a moment, the city attorney will explain the basic CMT procedures and adaptations for public attendance and public comment that have been put in place. City council members and the city personnel are appearing through CMT. The meeting will be opened with an invocation by Councilman Vogelsang. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And then we'll follow with the pledge. So, Mr. Vogelsang, the floor is yours.
Lord, please be with us tonight as we make decisions for the betterment of our community. Please bless those serving our country, both here and abroad. And please be with our first responders as they respond to crises across the country, dealing with public safety as a whole. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. If you would please rise and face the nearest flag for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And at this time, I'd like to invite the city attorney to please state the CMT procedures and adaptations being utilized tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. We provided notice to the public of the following CMT options and instructions on how they can attend, participate, view, and listen to the city council meeting. We advise that they may view and listen to the meeting via live stream on the City of Jacksonville Beach YouTube channel, and provided that link via Zoom technology. Provided that they may listen to the meeting via phone, and provided those that dial-in information and ID number. Also provided information for the hearing or speech impaired, that access number. And we provided that the public may submit questions and comments concerning any scheduled agenda item or the courtesy of the floor portion of the agenda via email, via US mail, and also dropping off at City Hall. And we provided instructions on the means of how to do that. We asked that those members of the public just provide their full name and address. And if a city business owner, then list the business name and address. We also provide a public comment submission form on the City of Jacksonville Beach website, and we provided instructions on how to utilize those. Written comments received by the deadline will be distributed to the mayor and city council members at the start of the meeting tonight. Comments received through these CMT options will be read into the record by the city clerk or the city attorney, and comments will be limited to 3-minute reading time. We also invited members of the public to comment via a dial-in utilizing a phone or Zoom link technology. And we provided information on how to do that and the deadline by when to register, and that Jacob will monitor that and enable the public to participate via the dial-in or utilizing Zoom. And finally, Mayor, we provided that that the comments will be read into the record up until 5 minutes before the particular agenda item is addressed by the mayor. And also public comments for courtesy of the floor will be accepted up until 5 minutes before the mayor opens up that portion of the meeting. And I just wanted to state that city council members do not use other electronic devices to communicate with each other about matters that are on tonight's agenda. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay, at this time, I'm going to call the meeting to order. And Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Council members Doherty.
Here.
Mott.
Here.
Golding.
Here.
Hoffman.
Here.
Nichols.
Here.
Vogelsang,
Here.
Mayor Latham.
Here. And article, or number 143, please.
I move that we approve the minutes of the council briefing held on July 20th, 2020.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion from the council? Put that up. I'm sorry. I don't have. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to get my hands up there. Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? By your action, the motion carries. And 144, please.
I move that we approve the minutes of the regular council meeting held on July 20th, 2020.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion by the council? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? By your action, motion carries. Moving on to the next agenda item is announcements. Does anybody have announcements? Well,
Charlie, you're on mute.
that happened automatically. That's interesting. I guess I was talking too much. A few hands came up, but I'm just going to mention really quickly. I wanted to congratulate Chief Smith and the police department for a great event on Saturday or Sunday morning. The first annual Andy Lavender 5K was very well organized and very well participated with. And there was a second ceremony this morning where the CPAAA had worked to put together some beautifully framed thin blue line flags for the police officers and award them to them this morning. So kind of a banner weekend. Thankfully, we don't have any storm issues to deal with. We were very fortunate to miss another bullet, but it was good to take the time to celebrate Andy and the police department. Okay, got a few hands up, Ms. Dumont.
Thank you. I would just like to congratulate UNF's summer 2020 graduates. We had our graduation, our virtual graduation on Friday, and then the MPA program on Saturday. And I know that all of the Ospreys, as they leave the nest, are going to go off and do some fabulous things, especially our MPA and nonprofit students. They're all off to go make wonderful, positive changes in their communities. Thank you.
Swoop. Mr. Nichols.
Had an opportunity to see some sea turtles hatch yesterday at 11th Avenue South. Just think the Sea Turtle Patrol is doing a fantastic job and protecting them. Even with the very high tide today, a bunch got covered up, but it looks like they've done a good job marking them out, and just appreciate everything the community is doing for the sea turtles.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Stefopoulos.
Yes, I wanted to let the council know that I've been contacted by Rebecca Perry of the North Florida Land Trust. She was contacting me regarding multiple properties that the Land Trust has an interest in, one of which is seeking to do an active donation to the city of land. Another two parcels that they'd like to discuss pursuing purchase for preservation. I intend on meeting with this organization probably within the next couple of weeks. Would council like this brought back to a briefing for further discussion, or would you also like to appoint anyone from council to serve as a liaison in the meetings with me?
Well, if nobody else is interested, I'm happy to attend and report back to the council.
I was just going to say, I've been talking to Ms. Perry about some of these parcels, and I'd be willing to attend, but if you would prefer Mayor, that's fine.
I go to plenty of meetings, Sandy. If you want to go, that's fine with me. Is anybody else interested? I only jumped in because I didn't see any hands go up or anything.
I would be interested, but I definitely defer to Sandy. Is the Small Islands property one of these under consideration?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to make a suggestion that only one council member go, but that council member isn't being delegated with sole authority to act on behalf of the council as a body. but really going for information gathering purposes.
Okay.
That way we'll be good.
So Sandy has volunteered and I don't see anybody else raising their hand. All in favor of Sandy, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Sandy, you got it. Thank you. Okay, any other announcements? Okay, at this time we'll go to courtesy of the floor. Jacob, do we have anybody standing by for courtesy of the floor?
We do. We have Mr. Marsh. Let me unmute him. And he also submitted some pictures to share. Mr. Marsh, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. This is Ken Marsh, 2011 Gale Avenue, Jacks Beach. I'm going to just show you some photos. This was taken on Friday. It's something that I've done probably for the last 4 or 5 years, just showing some potential areas that we may want to consider cleaning up. If you go to the next slide. Some of these you have seen before, like the bollards on the right-hand side that are in a state of disrepair. On the left-hand side, those are 2 different regulation signs that you cannot read what the regulations are. So again, these are photos that you've seen in the past. I think we did have a regulation sign on the 3rd Avenue end that got taken down, but these now are pretty bad. Next slide. This is a bike on the left-hand side. It's been sitting there for some time. I think we could probably get rid of that. That's sitting by the Shim Sham. On the right-hand side, that little corner is on the southeast corner of the Salt Building, right next to the Best Western. We have laundry hanging on the gate there, and it looked to me like perhaps somebody was living in there or staying in there, but I couldn't tell. But what I do know is that's on the boardwalk. Next slide. So the reason I bring this up is that we've got the Margaritaville Hotel that's going to be opening end of this year or early next year. And the question is, what is the message that we want to send to our new guests? What's the quality of our city that we're trying to portray? And I think that we've got some low-hanging fruit that we can go out and get this corrected and perhaps show our town in a better light to our new guests. I just happened to go into the review section, 3 different review sections for the Margaritaville Hotel in Pensacola Beach. It had over 3,000 reviews, and many of those reviews not only talked about the hotel, but they also talked about the surrounding area. So I think it's important for all of us in the city and in our local government to understand that we're on the world stage here, that Margaritaville is a big deal. And with the internet being what it is, the Instagram being what it is, that we're on a high-tech environment here where everybody's going to know our business. So I hope we put our best face forward, so to speak. And in that vein, I wanted to show you these current fencings that we have in our construction projects.
And you're coming up on 3 minutes, so please wrap it up as quickly as you can.
I'm sorry?
You're coming up on 3 minutes, so please wrap it up.
Okay, thank you. So I just wanted to say that this is our current fencing, and we know that these projects are going to stall. It could be another 2 to 4 years that we have to look at fencing. If you'll go to the next slide. This is some options on how you can make fencing better. I'm not suggesting we spend money. Maybe we can go out and look at artists and see how they could make these areas a little more creative and visually appealing. I'll close by saying on Friday, I went by the Beaches Museum and it was spectacular. It was welcoming, everything. The shrubs were wonderful. And that's the kind of, I guess, area that we should be looking at and how we want our downtown to look. So that's what I wanted to share with you.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. Okay, Madam Clerk, did you get any written questions for the council?
No, sir, I didn't.
Jacob, did we get any more courtesy phone calls?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. In that case, we're going to move down the agenda item to 20-145. Mr. Stavropoulos, are you prepared to brief the council?
I am. This next item is requesting authorization to move forward with bid number 1920-08, which is the reconstruction and repairs of 2 lift stations in the city, Lift Station 17 and Lift Station 23. And we have representatives from Public Works to talk a little bit about that project tonight.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We've got in front of you, we've got a couple of lift stations that have been budgeted to be redone. The first one is Lift Station 17, which is not the one in the picture, obviously. This one here is actually Lift Station 23. Sorry, my pictures are backwards.
Oh.
We're going to be redoing that lift station. And there's the other one, Lift Station number 17. Lift Station 17 was part of a fiscal year 18 CIP project. However, that project never moved forward, never got encumbered. So those funds reverted back to the sewer water funds. And we're asking that we have permission to go ahead and move forward with that project now at this time. We did advertise out to 15 different contractors. We received 5 bids back. Both of our competitive processes is asking for an award to PBM Constructors Incorporated, which was the low bidder of both of those lift stations. Those were bid and such that we hope to be able to drive competition and not necessarily have to award both to the same one. And obviously, this contractor bid low on both of them. So we're being prepared and asking to be awarded at this time.
Good, thank you, sir. Mayor Pro Tem, can we get a motion, please?
I move that we award city bid number 1920-8 lift station LS 17 Part A and LS 23 Part B rehabilitation and site upgrades to PBM Constructors Inc. for construction services and authorized construction administration services with the project design firm Four Waters Engineering Inc. as described in the memorandum from the Public Works project engineer dated July 27th, 2020.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. And any debate by the council? Did I lose you guys?
I can hear you.
We're here.
Okay,
We
hold
can hear
on
you,
a
Mayor.
second. Camera disappeared here somewhere. Okay, I can't see.
I'm not showing any hands, if that matters.
That's what I can't see. So, okay, thank you. So I understand there's no questions or debate at this time. So,
Correct.
Madam Clerk, we'll go to roll call, please.
Council members Doherty,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Golding,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Vogelsang,
Yes.
Mayor Latham.
Yes. And Mr. Stavropoulos, are we ready to brief 146?
We are. Mayor and Council, you should have received a revised agenda memo late this afternoon. We noticed that there was some information related to the funding for this project that had not gotten changed on the final memo. Basically, the funding account stays the same. However, only $20,000 of the project was originally budgeted. The balance is being proposed to be taken out of the electric utility fund budget, which is the same account number. With that being said, this project is with regard to updating security enhancements at all of our substation locations. And BES Director Alan Putnam is on the line to talk a little bit about the project. Alan, are you there?
Everybody hear me?
Got you now.
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
So this is a request for physical security enhancements at our substation control rooms. The first issue we have is when a fire alarm activates at our substation control rooms, what it does is it actually unlocks the doors. So this leaves our control center control rooms unsecure. So what this solution does is it upgrades the security system so that when there is a security alarm activated, it will disengage the electrical mechanical locks and engage mechanical locks, which can be accessed from inside and both outside the building with a security code. So that addresses the life safety issue. Secondly, it will install contacts to be added at the substation security gates. And currently, though we can see, the perimeter of our substations and we can see the control room doors, we cannot see the gates to our substation. So what this will do is it'll alert us anytime somebody enters that substation, and our crews and anybody else that enters our substation is supposed to inform us prior to going into that gate. So this will give us a notification that somebody's entered and either they haven't notified us or they're actually entering the substation and they don't have permission. So that'll allow us to call law enforcement if necessary. The new equipment will be installed by Siemens. We have a current contract with them under Sourcewell, which is formerly the National Joint Powers Alliance contract. This allows us to use their services from Siemens directly through a contract awarded by RFP. So that's my report. I'm asking you to approve the purchase on the amount of $90,170 with a 10% contingency with Siemens to upgrade our existing substation security systems. That's my report.
And Mayor Pro Tem, can we get a motion, please?
I move that we approve a purchase order in the amount of $90,170 with a 10% contingency with Siemens Industry Inc. to fund upgrades to our existing substation access control security system.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. First up was Ms. Golding. So Ms. Golding, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a comment. Whenever we have a change to an agenda item like this, could the clerk please make sure that you give us like a redlined version so that we know what the changes are? Because the new version that we got, it wasn't obvious what the changes were. Thank you.
Okay. And I saw a second one, but I don't have any other hands. Any other discussion or debate from the council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Council members Demont,
Yes.
Golding,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Vogelsang,
Yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Mayor Latham.
Yes. And Madam Clerk, if you would please read ordinance number 2020-8146, first reading, public hearing by title only, please.
An ordinance to amend Plan Unit Development PUD Ordinance Number 2019-8121, establishing a Plan Unit Development PUD zoning district, supplementing the comprehensive zoning regulations and zoning atlas for the city of Jacksonville Beach, Florida, as provided under Chapter 34 of the Code of Ordinances of said city.
Okay, this ordinance is to amend the PUD zoning regulations of a property. It's before the council as a public hearing and consideration on its first reading. Under the laws of the state of Florida, an application to amend the zoning regulations governing the property is handled as a quasi-judicial proceeding. A quasi-judicial proceeding means that the governing body is now functioning in a manner similar to a court, with the mayor and the council sitting as impartial decision makers, hearing testimony and questioning presenters who are to provide substantial and competent evidence to support their view of the issue or their side of the issue. It is the duty of the council to arrive at sound decisions regarding the use of property within the city. This includes receiving citizen input regarding the proposed use on the neighborhood, especially where the input is fact-based, not simple expression of opinion. It is in the applicant's burden to demonstrate that their application is consistent with the land development code and the comprehensive plan. If the applicant is successful in showing consistency, then it is up to the local government to produce competent, substantial evidence of record that the application should be denied. The council's decision on a zoning amendment application is based on the criteria set forth in section 34-211 of the Land Development Code. Each member of the council has been provided a copy of the criteria. In addition, the council has received a copy of the application and the staff and planning commission reports on this PUD zoning amendment request. I'll now open the public hearing on ordinance number 20208146. And do we have an applicant or spokesperson here for the, or online to discuss this? This is a, or.
Yep, Mayor, we have Heather Ireland, Senior Planner.
Okay.
And we also have a representative for the applicant.
Hi, Heather.
Hi, good evening. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
I apologize for the background noise. I'm forced outside due to a house full of noisy children. The Pablo Hamlet Senior Living is at the western end of Shutter Avenue. I think you all are familiar with the location. They came before you in 2019 for a rezoning to increase their number of units by, at that time, I believe it was 80, 81 or 82. Their original plan was for a building on either side of the existing campus. As they've rethought their plans, they've decided to, instead of doing 2 new buildings, they'd like to have 1 building that connects the 2 existing buildings that currently are there, which actually decreases the number of dwelling units that they will be adding to the campus. So they're asking for a PUD amendment to amend both their site plan and their narrative to reflect what they would like to do now, which you'll see the site plan is on your screen, showing a building that will go right between the 2 existing ones and add an additional 54 dwelling units. In addition to that, they'll be adding some additional parking to meet the parking requirement, which is 1 space per unit, which is the requirement for elderly housing, and they will be able to accommodate that. And it was reviewed by the Planning Commission back in July, and they recommended your approval by City Council. This next slide is just one of the elevations that was provided to us by the agent for the applicant. And we do have someone from Conley and Wicker on the Zoom call that can answer any questions that you might have of the design of the new facilities that they'll be adding. And I'm happy to answer any questions as well.
Thank you, Heather. Appreciate it. And are there any other interested parties that would like to address this issue? And we're looking first to any cards submitted, Madam Clerk, or phone calls received. Jacob?
I do not have any.
Okay.
No, sir, I do not have any either.
Okay, thank you. In that case, has the city attorney or the director of planning received any additional correspondence, or do you wish to respond to comments of the applicant?
I've received nothing, Mayor.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I have
nothing
no
for the planning
comment.
department.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, does anybody have any questions for Heather? Okay.
Mayor Councilor Golding has her hand raised.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Golden, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Heather, I just had a question because I know when Pablo Hamlet came before us in 2019, they indicated that there was a waiting list and a big demand for housing at Pablo Hamlet, and I'm just curious as to why they would reduce the number of units as opposed to going ahead and doing the number that they had originally planned.
Yes, ma'am, you're correct. They have indicated that they have a wait list at both Pablo Hamlet and Pablo Towers. I would like to defer that question to either the property management, Ms. Gilreath, who's on the phone, or Mr. Keats, who could probably better answer that question for you.
I can try to answer it for you. I'm losing my voice. I'm sorry. It's Melissa Gilreath. We do have about a 1.5 to 2 year waiting list. And the way the rents are structured under the subsidy we currently have now, it's based on a extremely low income, very low income, and low income. And with the tax credits that we'll be using for the new units, it's based on just a low income. So there won't be quite as many people on the waiting list as we anticipated earlier. We would love to do more units, but somehow it's just not feasible on the land, the way the current building is positioned. And we are looking forward to having as many as we can with the new building.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Appreciate it. Any other comments or questions? Okay, now I'm going to close the public hearing. And before requesting a motion on this ordinance and beginning with myself, each members of the council is requested to indicate for the record both the names of persons and the substance of any ex parte communication regarding this application. An ex parte communication refers to any meeting or discussion with a person or citizen who may have an interest in this decision, which occurred outside of the public hearing process. I can state that I had none. Ms. Golden?
I've had none.
Ms. Dumont?
None.
Mr. Doherty?
I've had none.
Mr. Vogelsang?
None.
Ms. Hoffman?
None.
Mr. Nichols?
I've had none.
Okay. And Mayor Pro Tem, I'd like to get a motion now, please.
I move that we adopt ordinance number 2020-8146, amending PUD rezoning ordinance number 2019-8121, governing the property located at 1600 Cheddar Avenue by providing a new project narrative and site plan. Pablo Hamlet Senior Living.
Second.
Got a motion and a second on the floor, and before opening the floor to discussion or questions by the council, please be reminded that our decision will be based on the criteria set forth in the Land Development Code, and the council is required to approve a clear statement of specific findings of fact, stating the basis upon which such facts were determined and the decision was made. This time I'm going to open the floor for discussion by council members. Does anybody have any debate? Crickets are chirping. Okay, going to close the discussion, and Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Council members Golding,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Vogelsang,
Yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Demont,
Yes.
Mayor Latham.
Yes, and does the city manager or the city attorney have any announcements or statements for this evening?
Nothing from me, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Spopoulos?
I do not.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long, glorious day. Thank you for your participation and your service to our community. Have a great night, and this meeting is adjourned.